The Joseph story, we see there was a fated 7-year famine, and that was not canceled. What happened was that Joseph, through God's divine guidance, was able to counteract it by working so that there would be enough grain during those years. A central element that God is hidden in some sense. In the Joseph story, we don't have God talking to Joseph, we don't have God doing great miracles and so on, but it's clear that the whole story is about God giving Joseph the ability to interpret the dreams and so on, and arranging for his ascent. God doesn't talk, God doesn't appear in anything, but the divine level of interaction is apparent throughout.
Now, Joseph standing before Pharaoh, he credits God with the power of interpreting dreams, and that's an important aspect which earned him God's help.
The sun and moon and stars, meaning the fate and the seasons, were bound to Joseph, meaning that with divine guidance that Joseph had, he was able to counteract the effect of the stars. And this, I think, is an essential element in understanding the Jewish approach against many of the pagan approaches, and the stories of both Joseph and of Mordechai, that rather than chance and magic and the supernatural, we're appealing to something much higher, the divine power. This is what the Jewish metaphysic is, as opposed to the idea that power, political power, any other kind, you can use magic to conjure up, and if you're successful, then it's okay. It's interesting to see that when Joseph gathered his brothers together, what he did was he was giving them an opportunity to prove themselves, to repent for their actions. As opposed to being willing to kill Joseph or sell him into slavery, here they had an opportunity to see what would happen when confronted with Joseph's threat to take Benjamin, into slavery. And they all stood up and they said, especially Judah, and they took responsibility, and they were willing to sacrifice their lives or become slaves instead of Benjamin. And this was what ended up bringing them to the point where Joseph could reveal himself, because they did this tshuva.